The whole point of this explainer is to give you a concrete protocol for getting rid of what's called strategic drift. You know, that feeling when you're working harder than ever, but you're just not making any real progress? We're here to basically tear down the myth of just hustling and reacting, and instead install something way more powerful, a system for strategic insulation. And this quote, it just nails the paradox we're talking about, right? The velocity trap. It's that feeling of having a calendar that's totally jam-packed, an endless to-do list. But underneath it all, there's this really unsettling sense that you're not actually going anywhere. You look successful on paper, but you feel empty. This isn't because you're not trying hard enough. It's a failure of navigation. For so long, we've all been sold this idea of the hustle myth. It's this lie that says your impact is just a simple math problem. More hours equals more success. It treats clarity like it's just gonna happen, like it'll magically show up after you grind for months. But here's the thing. Clarity is never an accident. It has to be engineered. Believing in this myth, well, it's like trying to cross an ocean by just rowing harder and harder, hoping you bump into the right continent. It completely ignores how our own brains are wired. So here's the game plan. First, we're going to diagnose the problem, what we call the hallucination of progress, and its biological cause, the brain's strategy veto. Then we'll build the solution, the clarity engine, and understand the biology of breakthrough. After that, I'll give you a practical mission with your Sunday calibration, and we'll wrap it all up with the core philosophy, isolate to claim legacy. Okay, let's start with the diagnosis. This feeling, this mix of being completely overworked yet totally unfulfilled, it's not some personal failing on your part. It's a systemic issue, and we call it the hallucination of progress. Let's be really clear about something. The problem is not a lack of discipline. You're probably an expert at grinding it out. The real issue is that while you've mastered the daily grind, you've forgotten to check the map. And every single day you execute on a strategy that's out of date, you're not actually moving forward. You're just getting better at speeding in the wrong direction. You're literally cementing your drift. And this slide just breaks it down perfectly. Our gut instincts versus the actual reality. We think the answer is always doing more. But the truth is systemic insulation, building a fortress to keep the noise out. We believe in working harder, but what we really need is the courage to just stop the world, even for an hour, to recalibrate. You think you're polishing your life with all these little tweaks, but what's really happening is you're just cementing your drift, making that wrong path smoother, and honestly, a lot harder to get off of. So, why does this happen, especially to so many smart, driven people like you? Well, the answer isn't in your character. It's actually in your biology. It's time to meet the hidden saboteur that's living inside your own mind. This is the big question, isn't it? The paradox of putting in all this effort, maximum effort, but still feeling completely stuck in strategic stagnation. It feels like you're treading water, even though you're swimming as hard as you possibly can. The answer? It's a neurological hijack. See, the answer lies in understanding that your brain, above all else, is an energy-saving machine. There's a part of it called the Anterior Cingulate Cortex, or ACC, and it basically acts like an efficiency manager. Deep, strategic thinking, asking those big, scary questions about your life, is incredibly expensive for your body. It burns a ton of energy, a ton of glucose. So once your ACC decides that your current routine is functional and safe, it actively vetoes those expensive thoughts. It will always prioritize the comfortable routine over the hard work of plotting a new course. And this right here, this illustrates that internal conflict perfectly. Your prefrontal cortex, that's the legacy hunter. It's the part of you that dreams big, that plans conquests. But as you start executing those plans, the tasks get handed off to the basal ganglia, which becomes this checklist simulator, just running on pure habit. And the result? Functional boredom. You can do the job on autopilot, sure, but that feeling of impact, of conquest, is just gone. Your brain has successfully automated your drift. The outcome of this whole neurological hijack is that deep, profound feeling that you are working twice as hard for zero real impact. And that's not just a feeling, it's a neurological reality. Your ambition is still firing on all cylinders, but your brain's operating system is stuck simulating a checklist instead of conquering a kingdom. The engine's running, but it's totally disconnected from the wheels. That's the problem. So now, let's build the solution. Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem, and we know its biological root. This isn't about just trying harder. It's about installing a full-on systemic upgrade for your life's operating system. The heart of this upgrade is a really fundamental shift. Right now, your mind probably operates like a reactive radar. It's constantly scanning for the next email, the next task, the next fire you have to put out. We're going to re-engineer it, turn it into a strategic hunter, a system that doesn't just react to what's thrown at it, but actively goes out, seeks, and executes on only the highest impact targets. And this is the 3-step protocol to do it. First step, the sensory purge. You stop looking for the next thing to add to your to-do list, and instead, you start asking, what in here is just faking the signal of importance? Step 2, macro to micro alignment. You stop the relentless doing, and you force yourself to become an architect, making sure that the work you do today is actually building the vision you have for tomorrow. And third, binary deletion. This is huge. It means you stop chasing an endless list, and instead, you hunt for the one critical pivot, that single no that makes a dozen other tasks completely irrelevant. Now, this isn't just another productivity hack. This is a neurobiological intervention. Let's dig into the science of why this Clarity Engine protocol literally rewires your brain for breakthroughs. The state we're shooting for is something called neural coherence. This is where your brain's resources are no longer scattered, drained by that low-level hum of reactive habits. Instead, all your cognitive firepower is concentrated on conquering a single high-value goal. You stop burning energy just going through the motions, and you start investing it to protect what actually matters. So how does this insulation actually make that happen? Well, by creating that quiet space, you manually lower the energy cost of strategic thinking, which makes your brain more willing to do it. This almost instantly shifts its value threshold. It stops seeing tiny, easy tasks as wins. And every time you delete a low-value project, you trigger something called the winner effect, which signals to your brain that your big legacy goal is the real path to survival. You're literally training your brain to ignore the noise and lock onto the signal. You go from being a slave to every notification ping to becoming the chief executive of your own future. Okay, time to move from theory to the real world. This is your first mission. We're going to walk through how you can implement this system right away with a simple, incredibly powerful routine, your Sunday calibration. But before we do, you have to get this into your head. The tool you need isn't a new app or some fancy planner. The most powerful productivity tool on this planet is silence. Your job isn't to organize all the noise better, it's to eliminate it. You're on a hunt for a pocket of absolute silence in your week. Here are your orders. Number 1, isolate. Find a single 60-minute block next Sunday where you will not be disturbed. This is non-negotiable. Number 2, calibrate. Deliberately change your environment. Get away from your desk. No screens, no phone, no people. This change sends a signal to your brain that this is not business as usual. And 3, delete. Perform what's called the trajectory sweep. Look at your week ahead and find 3 commitments, tasks, or meetings that are not essential to your core mission, and then hard delete them. The goal here is the speed of deletion, not the volume of your planning. Okay, let's zoom out one last time and look at the core philosophy here. Because this isn't just a weekly tactic, it's a completely new way of thinking about achieving real impact in your life. If you only remember one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. Impact is not a feeling you chase. It is an engineered insulation that you build. We've been taught that greatness is measured by how much chaos you can handle. That is wrong. True greatness is measured by how well you can isolate, how ruthlessly you can protect your time, your energy, and your focus until only the essential stuff is left. And it all comes down to this final mantra for your new operating system. Isolate the mind to claim the legacy. Your strategic drift was never a character flaw. It's a hardware problem, and it's caused by constant noise. So your mission is to stop trying to outperform the noise and start engineering the silence. Find your hour. Kill the noise and just watch how clear the map becomes.